Here's an interaction you want to be very careful with because it can happen to one of the most meta new decks in the game, the Silvally deck. If you're playing Silvally, you want to be able to play a supporter card each turn, even if the supporter card does nothing, because it gives you 50 extra damage. Now, you'll probably be running this supporter card, Gladion, if you're running Silvally, and as you can see, I can play it, even though I already have a Silvally on the field and a Type Null on the bench, and a Silvally in my hand, so it's impossible for Gladion to do anything. The problem is, if I evolve my second Silvally just like that, I can no longer play Gladion, even though nothing has changed. The game knows that I didn't have it in my deck, but once both Type Nulls and both Silvallies are on the field, your hand is fine, but once they're on the field, you can no longer play Gladion. So be careful about this interaction because it could lock up your Silvally deck. Again, credit to the North Knight on Reddit for pointing this out. But luckily, there's good news. Some cards you can play to power up Silvally, even if they make no sense at all. For example, you might think that the card Barry could only be played if you have a Snorlax or Staraptor, but that's just not the case. Barry doesn't put a buff on a Pokemon, it puts the buff on you. It's a field effect, so you can play it no matter what. Meaning it's basically plus 50 damage for Silvally, which is why Silvally Snorlax is actually a decent deck, if you saw the video I made on the subject. Buzzhole's attack Big Beat comes with a big side effect. After you use it, it creates a debuff on Buzzhole that means you can't use Big Beat next turn. But there's actually a great way around this side effect. If you've seen my videos where I cover weird interactions, you know that whenever the little cross symbol appears on the Pokemon, it means it's a debuff, and debuffs can be cleared by retreating the Pokemon. Now, of course, you probably already knew that, but what you might not have known is that you can actually achieve this and still get another attack in the very next turn. I know you can only retreat once per turn, but by using 2 Celesteelas, you can remove Buzzhole, boop, to the bench and replace it with another Celesteela. You can then use the other Celesteela's power to put it right back. This clears the debuff as soon as Buzzhole is on the bench, and now it is free to use Big Beat a second time. You can also do this, by the way, with Solgaleo and retreating the Solgaleo back into Buzzhole, though I don't know why you'd run a Solgaleo Buzzhole deck. Any of these options would work, so get creative. Speaking of buffs, we should talk about the new Beast Wall card. Being a trainer card, if your opponent hasn't gotten any prize points yet, it'll protect your Ultra Beasts, giving you a little buff here that reduces the damage they take by 20. But what's fun is if somehow you get 2 of these before your opponent gets any prize points, you can play both, and they do in fact stack. To make it extra fun, we can add on Adaman, and now, all of a sudden, we're taking minus 60 damage from our opponent. Probably overkill in this situation, and you can also try it with Trainer Card Blue, if you want. So when you play Nihilgo onto the bench, it creates this playfield-wide debuff. You can click on it and see that it actually stacks. It'll do 10 extra damage every time your opponent takes a poison tick. You can actually combine this with Croagunk, whose attack will create a poison effect that already does 20 damage. So that when your opponent is poisoned, they take 40 damage every single tick. And this includes, at the end of your opponent's turn, they'll also take 40 damage, so that it's 80 damage total. The poison extra damage all stacks. The new electric cord item is meant to be used with an electric-type Pokemon like Magnemite. But Poketools can be attached to any Pokemon, even if it makes no sense. Like, I could put Electric Cord on this fossil I have on the bench, and it's totally fine. Just keep in mind that it's not actually going to do anything unless the Pokemon is an electric Pokemon with electric energy, and you have at least 1 Pokemon on your bench. Conkeldurr can survive a 1-hit KO, but can it survive a 1-hit KO that doesn't do damage? Take 3? Okay. This is our 7th attempt to do this. Okay. We're gonna hit the turn limit. Okay, please. Please, this is our 10th time doing this. No. Sure. Alright, this is our 11th time trying this. I am not kidding. Please. Yes, okay, finally. Alright, so, super powered hug hits Conkeldurr, but does sturdy trigger. No, it doesn't. I guess I should be calling it guts, not sturdy. It's really sturdy, but it says guts. So, guts does not trigger when Conklidor is KO'd from Beware. I guess because the KO is not due to damage. But the real question is whether or not Beware can KO Pokemon like Regice, who are immune to the effects of Pokemon, not just the damage. And the answer is, Regice is actually immune to being one-shot by Beware. Though not quite an Ultra Beast, this one is fascinating. The new Claydol card has the Heal Block ability, which stops you and your opponent from healing. But we had a bit of a debate in my world record for most healing done in a single game video. What counts as healing? For example, if I put this cape onto the Duskull, does the increased health still apply? Yes, it does. That's not healing, and I got that right in the video, apparently. But what about this? Shadow Void. Does this count as healing? I can remove the damage done from Duskull. Apparently, that's not healing. So maybe I got it wrong in that video. Either way, Heal Block will not prevent you from using Cape to get more health, and it will not prevent Dusknoir's ability from activating draining your health. I guess the game doesn't currently consider that healing. Now we know. Mad shout out to Toshibinya and Sparky for helping me with this video. This has been another Weird Interactions from the Sneaky Dragon Science Lab. I'll catch you all later.